Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave.
And I'm John, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye. Guys, I'm back.
He's back. He had a great COVID. John, how was your COVID?
It was a good COVID. My last COVID nearly killed me, so this was a huge relief from whatever the fuck happened last time. I guess I was due 9 months since my last case of COVID, my only case of COVID, so now I'm 2 for 2 in less than a year. God
awesome. Really great. We're still in the intro, though, so we'll have to come back to that in a second. So that's right.
Come back to that. Let's just keep going.
Well, it's good to have you back, friend. So we try to keep it positive on this here podcast so we don't dive into the scrutiny and the nitpicky. We try to keep it positive, try to have fun watching movies. It's very important when we talk about this movie. We have to try our best to talk about how fun it is to watch movies. So anytime you hear this sound, that means that we have to take a drink. We kind of hope that you at home drink along with us.
At home. We specify at home.
Not behind the wheel of a car, not in a boat.
Not at your university that you're giving a lecture at. Not. Is
that a 3,000 Years of Longing joke, which is our episode that we just recorded, Dave?
We do start this show off, though, with a customary shot. So pour yourselves a glass.
Yep.
Cheers. Oh, boy.
And let's get ready to lug some bins around.
Let's get ready to apparently steal some shopping carts. A lot of shopping carts in this movie.
I mean,
I love how the shot you could hear us swallow. So, Jeff, Dave, and John coming at you. We're talking about Samaritan today. This just appeared on your Amazon Prime. If you're wondering what this movie is, it's the Sylvester Stallone movie the only time I ever saw this being advertised is when I watched the Yankees game on Amazon Prime, which pisses people off whenever Amazon gets the Yankees games or any MLB games. And
if you're an executive at MGM Studios, you're wondering why the fuck this is on Amazon Prime and not in the theaters because they didn't tell them they were going to do it.
Oh, shit.
So.
This was part of the MGM merger with Amazon. They decided to go straight to streaming. So MGM Studios and Balboa Productions, the two quote-unquote production studios behind this. I don't think Balboa did anything financially, but...
Dude, streaming needs to get this shit together or no one's going to work with them.
Is that fucking crazy?
Wow.
Yeah.
So HBO was cutting their losses. This is...
Are we getting into the gripes, Mr. Green?
It's similarly themed.
We're still on task. So if you're new to the podcast, thank you so much for joining us. We try to keep it spoiler free for about 10 minutes or so you can get our initial takeaways, what we think, what we feel about the movie, and then we'll dive in and we'll really dive into the story and some spoilers and stuff. But before we get into Samaritan, which we're already starting to get giddy about here, we have been trying to get this segment 1 minute gripes so that we can get these off our chest at the top of this episode, get some drinking going, 60-second timers. Who has gripes today? I have one. Dave, you definitely have one. John, do you have a gripe?
I don't. I've been in my COVID bubble. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't have a gripe. I had fucking COVID.
I'll do mine because Dave, you did one in the last.
Wear your mask, motherfuckers.
I'll do mine, and mine's petty as fuck. So I'll do mine. Dave, can you please start the timer?
I will start the timer.
All right, so there's a lot of stuff talking about student debt and how it's just like a handout for the student, whatever. And I'm not going to get political here. I don't want to do that. It's going to inflation, whatever. What I want to talk about is these motherfuckers that fly helicopters over Manhattan as if it's their goddamn playground that they're flying over, and we're just fucking ants on the bottom. I was at the park for Chloe's birthday last weekend, and we had to. These helicopters fly so fucking low. They're clearly coming from the Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, the kind of airport where people fly 2 people at a time across the fucking country to these private airports. Great, you have money, that's fantastic. But if it's noise polluting my fucking birthday party because you suckers refuse to take a car, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself so hard. I hope we tax the fuck out of you. We take your goddamn money. And if you want to have money, that's great. But don't leave me out of this, because you always say oh, it's just me and my business. But stop noise polluting my fucking birthday party, you pieces of shit. That's my gripe.
Boom.
That was so hostile. You're getting buzzed anyway.
Oh, that was good. Dave, you got a gripe?
I've got a bit of a gripe. We'll start this timer. So that Warner Brothers, the rumor that came out this week is that they're holding secret screenings at Warner Brothers Studios of the Batgirl movie that was canned, and then the directors were locked out of the footage when they tried to access it. I'm thinking, what the fuck? How hostile is that room going to be? It's like, welcome everybody. Come and see the movie that we just shut down. Go fuck yourself would be the resounding crowd. Nobody in that room is going to be happy to be there.
Yeah.
What are they thinking? Are they thinking anything at this point? 30 seconds.
Honestly,
Got it out
man,
in 30 seconds.
It is a giant question. I'll
Yeah,
tag on to your gripe because you
Yeah,
only
go
have
ahead,
about
go,
20
go,
seconds
go,
left.
go,
I think
go.
we're all just very confused about what's happening with streaming services. They have been able to covet a bunch of very integral information from the business. It's not just like laymen don't understand this. People who are making negotiations with them don't understand what they're doing either. They don't release any of their numbers. They don't release a lot of their information. It's hard to understand why they're doing what they're doing. So I think we are on the cusp of them starting to be held accountable in a different financial way. I think it's about to happen. So you heard it here first.
Wait, really quick, because this movie came out. Sorry.
What just happened?
We all went over, and Jeff's eating. So,
all right.
Because this is a streaming movie that was supposed to go to. This is relevant to our podcast here. What are you talking about, John? What do you mean?
What?
You said that they're all starting to get their the financial comeuppance is happening. What did you mean?
I think something's coming.
I have a theory that eventually they're going to be held accountable in some kind of very large legal proceedings that is going to make them have to start revealing more numbers, which is just going to give everybody a lot more negotiating power against them, which is they can't operate in indebted business plans forever. It's just not possible. And we're starting to see some of them struggle in more ways. And then we've seen things like this, which feel almost unethical. Studios have done exactly what they're doing before, but it's just the nature of the business. There have been so many holes in the boats that you've been able to hear about why things happened. Right now, this just feels like we just get updates on the facts after it. And I don't know, man. It seems like everything is just so covered up that we just don't have any ways to leverage ourselves against them as viewers and as people in the industry who might be negotiating with them.
Right.
It just seems like there's been a fuck ton of mergers lately where the people have taken over these studios and they're just looking at balance sheets.
Yeah, obviously.
Which I get it. It's a business, but it's like these people are slaved away for 2 fucking years. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, I don't want to get buzzed again, so I'll stop.
That's it. That's it. I did want to call this out because I thought this was really special. These companies are so huge. These companies are so huge now that we can't hold them accountable to the way they behave on one thing. I got to see a documentary the other day, and I will look up the name of it in a second. But the documentarian was talking about how they got bought. The product got bought through Participant Media, who funded it, by Netflix. Netflix and the Obamas, and I'm sure that had an enormous influence as well. But Netflix is rolling out this entire kind of grassroots program to try to get people invested in the the subject, which is about the last slave ship to come to America illegally in like 1865. It was really interesting. And they're doing all this groundwork, trying to get communities involved so that when it launches, people have something that they can do if they want to get involved in trying to uncover more information. And so it still sounds like that they're so big that I'm sure they're doing a lot of things right. They couldn't be this successful if they weren't. It's just nowadays, are we just shooting skeet here when they throw out one movie? Are we going to be overreacting? This is what they need to be concerned about. We don't know the difference right now. We want to be responsibly celebrating their achievements and not be sidelined by things like this. But if they're doing things like this all the time and we don't know about it, I don't know. That's where they can't hide that kind of shit. It's frustrating.
Dude, they pulled 200 episodes of Sesame Street off HBO Max.
So
what the fuck?
No, but this is
Turn
interesting.
The timer back on.
They fuck with Cookie Monster and the Count. It's on.
That's fucked up. I heard that it's because they knew that they were getting beat by Netflix thanks to fucking Cocomelon and shit, and then Bluey and all these other Disney Plus that they just decided to pull the plug on that. But HBO actually pays residuals. So part of the reason they're clearing their books is A, to cut losses, but B, they don't want to pay residuals, whereas Netflix doesn't pay residuals. So they try to do everything that's right, quote unquote, but then they give Dave Chappelle $60 million and then they don't give residuals to John's brother-in-law. So fuck Netflix. No, I'm kidding.
By the way, before I forget, just because I did think it was worth mentioning, the documentary is called Descendant.
Okay.
And it is really great documentary. You should watch it whenever it comes out.
Not to be confused with Descendants or The Descendants. This is Descendant. Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, so here we are, people. We are talking about Samaritan, which is only exclusively on Amazon Prime. This stars Rocky Balboa. I mean, it stars Rambo. I mean, it stars Sylvester Stallone, a.k.a. the
Demolition Man.
The guy from... Oh my God, I thought it would come to me. What was that movie we watched where they all killed each other with cars as they drove to... What was that movie?
Death Race 2000.
Death Race 2000. Oh my god, it's so fucking funny.
The Depression era machine gun.
So I have to be honest with you guys. Last night I was on the Matt and Mark movie podcast. And we talked about Samaritan. So I talked an hour and a half about this movie. So I want to kind of take a back door on this one. I want to take a back seat. So that way I don't just play all the hits from what I did last night. Not to give a conflict
Your
of
back
interest.
door is not consensual. I'm sorry.
That's right. My back door is you stick. I'm going to so if anybody listened to both episodes, I'm definitely going to play my hits for sure. I have my points and I want to say them again. But I also don't want to commandeer this episode with what we talked about yesterday. So I'm going to try my best and likely fail to take a backseat a little bit on this episode. But we try to keep it positive, I'll say that, and we try to start spoiler free. So let's dive in really quick. This is on Amazon Prime. This is directed by Julius Avery, this is his third feature film. He had a ton of shorts over the course of like 10 years, which I usually have a lot of respect for because it means that they just love making movies. And if they didn't get the money to make their feature, they made their fucking short. He directed Overlord in 2018, which is probably his best film to date. And then Son of a Gun in 2014. So every 4 years, he puts out a film, usually pulpy in nature of some kind. And this movie was written by Bragi F. Schut.
Yep.
Stars Sylvester Stallone, and it stars Javon Walton, who you may know from Euphoria. He plays Ashtray, aka the kid drug dealer, and he's also in the American adaptation of Utopia. And I don't know how to say his name.
That's where I know him from.
Euron Greyjoy, Pilou Asbaek, the Danish actor Cyrus. He plays Cyrus in this film. And then a lot of people Martin Starr is probably the most familiar to American audiences. Martin Starr from Freaks and Geeks and Silicon Valley. The IMDb pitch I'm going to read, and then I'm going to pass it on to you for your initial takeaways. What did you think of fucking Samaritan? A young boy learns that a superhero who was thought to have gone missing after an epic battle 20 years ago may in fact still be around. Says nothing about the presumed conflict in this movie, but it's a good enough setup to get us going. Who would like to get started with your initial takeaways?
It is a good setup. Who as a kid hasn't thought that someone nearby was a superhero in hiding?
Dave, why don't you start?
No, I don't want to start.
You just started. You just dove in.
I want to say this starts with this starts with a really fun stylized intro. Where they go through the history of like the two, or like the character that is prominent in the story, and I hated it. I hated the voiceover. I loved the style of the intro, so straight away I was conflicted, and I was like,
was the kid
was the voiceover, yeah, and it was all overly like it was like Jeff reading an IMDb description.
Oh my
Jesus. But yeah, it was like I just didn't like the style of that, but I loved the style of the graphical style of the intro. I thought that was really neat.
Okay, so we're 2 minutes into the film.
and that's all I have to say.
Turn it off after that.
No, I thought there was some great. I love Stallone's performance in this. Mm-hmm. I'll say. Mm-hmm. I really liked Cyrus, like the villain from previously from Game of Thrones. I thought he was very good at being amiable but threatening in the same fucking scene. And I will say there is a twist in this film that we will talk about later, I'm sure. My wife picked it 5 minutes into the film.
Oh, I picked it
really?
before we pressed play.
You did? I can't. I was intentionally dumb. Okay.
I was like, if that happens, that's really awesome. And yeah, anyway.
The sleuth, as Matt said. You are the genre sleuth.
So
do you like? Do you like the movie, Dave?
You didn't really say overall. If you,
I didn't, did I?
Okay.
Okay, but this is for our podcast. Did you have some fun? You had some fun.
I had some fun. There were a couple of times.
Some parts of it.
There were a couple of times where I was like, "Fuck yeah!" But like, it was just the same. It was the same old stuff. There was nothing new here.
Okay.
For me.
Sure. Yeah.
John.
Yeah. Okay. So even though I just said that I guessed it really soon, I guessed it as soon as that opening that Dave was referring to, where they kind of tell you the lore about these supposed vigilante superheroes from a past in this real world called Samaritan and Nemesis. And right, Nemesis,
Yeah.
right. And as soon as they said those two words, I kind of thought to myself, and I said, that's got to be what this is about. Otherwise, this is a really bad idea. And it doesn't matter. As soon as I switched gears, because when that boy started, I didn't read anything about this. There is a couple posters on our big avenues here in Los Angeles for this movie. So I thought I saw a little bit of advertising for it, but I just said, whatever, let's just go see it and see what it's about. I figured there was some kind of superhero-y thing because the posters are similar to the poster that they have on IMDb. There is behind him in a background some kind of superhero-y uniform, but I didn't know it was set in like a superhero kind of world. I thought it was something else. So I was expecting Stallone in the real world. Anyway, I think if I had known beforehand that this is kind of like Last Action Hero in the sense that it's from a child's perspective, it's still, it stars someone you recognize. You're going to see the hits for the genre in terms of some storytelling aspects, but that it really is, it's not a movie for people our age. Like I probably wouldn't have pressed play on this if I had known what it was. No offense to movies aimed at family audiences. And all right, sure. Overall, I think it was, I thought it was okay. I thought there were a lot of problems with it. So that I would even say that like what we love so much, and I think I feel comfortable saying that objectively, society respects and adores studios like Pixar and really good DreamWorks movies, Disney, that treat those kids like they're smart. Like they're going to catch holes, like they're going to catch mistakes and inconsistencies and worlds. And I felt like this movie, if it was aimed at family audiences, it made a lot of choices that seemed to not honor whether or not kids would notice inconsistencies and physical inconsistencies from things that were technical, like special effects, to things that have to do with story, like massive holes in story that just don't add up. And would leave a child, sure. A child more than anyone else is going to be the one who says, that doesn't make sense, right? They're so objective when they're taking in material.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree there. It was also, I feel like they made him so blatantly over the top annoying as a distraction.
The boy?
Yeah, because
I do want to give...
They knew it was too easy.
I'll finish my little gripe, because I do think the boy was trying really hard. And for the most part, he was really charming. And I think he has a lot of talent. So it may have been a directorial thing. But ultimately, I liked this movie okay. Out of all the movies that are going to be aimed at this kind of demographic, this is nowhere near where I would recommend you should watch this one first. I don't know. It's just okay. It's not bad. It's not a bad movie. I think anyone who wants to watch that kind of movie, and come on, everybody loves Sly. He's really good in this.
He's really good in this.
Every time he pops into any movie in this older age, even the fucking Expendables, that guy has both feet on the ground. He is a good actor. I like watching him. It's charming, and I like watching him with kids. So the things that are wrong with this movie probably won't distract most people. If you're in the mood for this kind of movie, Last Action Hero in a current day kind of thing, they haven't made a movie like that in a long time. Anyway, what do you think, Jeff?
So I opened. I'm not going to mention the Matt and Mark show again because I was on their episode, but I started out and I said this is somewhere between really stupid and really fun. Not really fun. It's really stupid and pretty fun. And I was like, I didn't know where it was. And as soon as I said it, it was kind of like I feel bad for saying that, even though that's probably true. But I got it out of my system, and then I was able to have fun talking about it. And so I think that's where I am now. I could not agree with you more. I'm actually surprised, John, that you mentioned the audience, that you thought it was for younger people, because for me, I was like, I kind of feel like this wanted to be the boys, but it had a governor on. A governor is the thing on cars that doesn't let it go as fast as it can go. I was like,
had one of those in the Batmobile.
I feel like, do you actually have one in the Batmobile, or you just?
They did, yeah.
Oh, funny.
The one that I was driving, yes.
Oh, funny. I don't know if I should buzz you or not. That's why I quizzed you. That's funny. Yeah. Okay. So I was like, because there's so much in it. And Last Action Hero, Mark said, so you're right on that, with the the two of them, and the kid is so good in Euphoria because he's a drug dealer in a supporting role who's 12, and he's like, he has this kind of raspy voice, and he's like, look, you gotta buy the drug, you know what I mean? And so it's like, it's so fucking but as the lead, he kind of has this like naggy voice the whole time, and he's kind of like this the whole time, and so he does kind of nag a little bit, and I feel bad because he's a kid, so you never know what to do about that, but that is, he's looming all over this. But as far as the target audience, I guess you're right, John. I guess it is for younger kids, but I still think some younger kids could use some real pulp. And I feel like they pulled the punches on this. And even knowing the twists and knowing the turns and stuff that will come later, I feel like they didn't really push the limit on either being the boys and being hilarious and gory. It was kind of funny and it was kind of gruesome, but not really. And it didn't really pull the punch on being a satire of like let's say the Batman this year, of where like everybody's so desolate and everybody's so poor and everybody's being taken advantage of the rich. That's why I did my helicopter joke at the beginning of this. It's because it's like, there's, you have Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne Manor, and then even nurses here are like trying to scrum $5 together. They didn't really go for that satire, which would give you the Cyrus turn later on. Having said that, there's enough shit to talk about with your friends to have fun in this that it's like, I wish I saw it with you guys because we would have turned it into a drinking game, or we would have paused it, but like, we need to smoke and then start this again or something like.
Actually, speaking of smoke, whenever smoke alarms go off in movies, it's never at a realistic level. Do you notice that?
Oh, it's very loud, you mean? It's like the loudest thing.
It's just like me in the background. She runs in, she pulls the bottle, it's like me. Dude, when my fucking smoke alarm goes off, the windows rattle, and there's a cat-sized hole in the door from where the cat's trying to get the fuck out of the house.
Oh my God, John, in college, do you remember when they built those buildings we moved into, and they like the showers were setting off the fire alarms because of the steam? So like every other night, these motherfuckers would go off, and they were God.
It's not this polite thing.
You're
it's
right,
like, whoop. It's like, is that the fire alarm? Whoop. What?
All right. I still want to have fun talking about this movie with you guys, even though you're right, there's holes everywhere. So let's just go ahead and let's turn spoilers on, even
Spoilers
though
are on.
I still think there's some fun shit. So if you haven't seen this movie and you're kind of like, well, I don't know what to do, just fucking see it, but just lower your expectations.
Go and watch this, come back and enjoy the fun.
The fight sequence at the end is it's so flawed, but you'll have fun with the flaws. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, totally. I think the best parts about this are whenever Sly is talking and acting. It's he's fun. He's fun on stage. He's fun on screen. But it's mostly I thought there were some really cool. Anytime you're going to slowly try to reveal how strong is this superhero we don't know anything about. You have that's a fucking secret weapon there as a storyteller. We don't know anything about these people, even though we watched that intro. They were fighting each other. So we really didn't know how crazy strong they were. He's older. We didn't know what he was capable of. So it was fun watching the little reveal moments. When he jumped over the car, that was fucking cool.
Wait, speaking of that, you can't tell me he can jump over 9 cars and then not show me the 9 cars. Come on, Chekhov's 9 cars. They were like, he can jump over 9 cars. And I was like, you have to show me that. You can't tell me he can jump over 9 cars and then not show me he's jumping over 9 cars. Come on, this is in Cabin in the Woods. Come on, you have to give me that.
There were some really fun, and this is the kind of shit that I hope Matt and Mark like really went to town on, because I think they would appreciate this. The small cast of extras that were just thrown into scenes and heavily featured.
I don't know. Is that Nemesis? Let's break shit. I don't know. Is that
him? That sequence was fucking
let's destroy the fucking city.
And hilarious.
I just wanted my Bojangles, but now I'm ready to cause a fucking riot.
Dude, that whole speech he gave was, what the hell was going on? I was like, what is happening?
It wasn't even a town square. It was a back alley. It wasn't even the middle of the town.
Alley, dude.
They're like, people of what is it? What is the name of the town?
His voice,
Smoke Gun City.
His voice, dude. Everything about it was so silly, but it made me think of like, it kind of was like a good throwback to like the 80s style. Like we can't afford 100 people, but like 10 people and get them really involved. That's enough. It kind of felt like that the whole time to me. And I was getting a real kick out of that. I don't know where everyone came out of the woodwork at the end. I don't know if I felt that Cyrus's gang was that huge.
Yeah. But where did he get all of these paid people with weapons?
Also, I think that here's one of my holes that I'm going to point out. I do feel like the fact that he was establishing, and you know what? We've seen other movies do this. as Dark Knight Rises, we can bitch about that if we want to. For the person who's trying to establish anarchy, it's very ironic to me that anarchy would lead to an organized group of criminals.
Unless it's on 4chan like the Riddler did in the Batman, which is why the Batman was so good. He had 4chan, so you saw that happen off screen, quote unquote. In this case, it was literally a speech in an alley. So fucking funny.
Pretty silly. But
there were little spots of realism though. Like the power in the city goes out, everyone makes a beeline for the nearest fucking Best Buy and starts taking TVs.
Sure. I'm just going to say it because I want you guys to answer my question because I genuinely think I missed something. Is Cyrus a superhero?
No.
The hammer is.
So he shouldn't be able to be that strong. Like, what the fuck? That was like, if I was a kid.
Yeah.
If I was a kid, that would have pissed me the fuck off, dude. That is like, I don't know. Like, that would have been tough for me to swallow even as a child.
Yeah, my brain was
what
like,
his rules were.
Is that Thor's hammer? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Like, does he get super strength when he picks the hammer up?
Although I will say that's part, again, if you embrace the silly with this and you realize that this is not going to be, I don't even want to say what you'd expect. This is not going to be what it wants to be. I'll put it that way. And I think they do want you to have fun and laugh and shit, but I think they want you to have fun and laugh the way you watch The Boys.
Do you think the writer and director wanted that to be unclear?
I
don't think the writer and director ever spoke.
I almost think that with honestly, I wonder if this would have benefited from some Marvel level reshoots and stuff that I bet you that they just didn't get once this whole merger shit happened. I think
I just needed one scene to tell me that the hatred Nemesis felt is the same hatred that Cyrus feels, like to really make it specific and just tell me that's why he can wield the hammer.
He turned out just to be a fanboy.
But I felt like they broke their rule by when we realized exactly what was happening with the switch. And I don't know, it confused me. And the whole thing was hanging on the fact that, again, I thought we were in this 80s movies place where I was okay with him picking up the hammer. I was like, sure, whatever. It's not Thor's hammer. He can pick it up. He can swing it around. But as soon as they started fighting at the end, I thought it was going to be one of those 80s movies where as an audience member, you know that there's no chance that the protagonist couldn't destroy that antagonist with like one single punch, but you just go along for the ride.
Yeah, Stallone would have killed him.
It didn't feel that way to me. It felt like they were really trying to show us that, like, oh, he has a chance here. And I was like, what?
Stallone would have killed him unless he had another heart palpitation. I think though I think it's actually a really fun part of the movie though that Cyrus is obsessed with Nemesis and he realizes he's in the presence of Nemesis. And it pisses him off because he no longer has a perfect. Also, the person he reveres isn't just this thing that he thinks. He's manufactured this. Dave and I were talking about 3,000 years of logging. It's all about stories, the stories we tell ourselves to justify our existence. This guy, Cyrus, aka Euron Greyjoy, let's just call him Euron Greyjoy here. He really wanted he wanted to take the mantle of Nemesis and punch up, which again, he kept talking about that. So for me, this should have been a real proper pastiche. This should have been a play on the superhero genre. And it should have been not just about lust for power. This should have been like a Robin Hood, but Robin Hood is bloody now because we have weapons and technology. Robin Hood would fuck shit up in order to be Robin Hood now. Otherwise he would have been caught. You know, that little fucking fox in a drone would have taken that motherfucker out. So he's got to be ruthless now. But he finally realizes that that's not who Nemesis was, and it pisses him off, but they didn't really set up the storyline well enough, so you didn't get that. Although that whole action sequence, especially the Stallone oneer, once he finally like becomes ruthless, once they go in the elevator with all of the guys with guns, and he goes, oh, I forget what his line is, but the doors close and you just hear the sound effects of him like beating
going up.
Yeah.
What does he say?
You guys going up? Yeah, exactly. It's like that's what this movie should have been the whole time. So
whole time. Shamelessly the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost the way, which again, I hate to throw it back there, but I think Last Action Hero kind of knew what they were doing with Arnold. Like, give him the one-liners people want, make it kind of funny. No one can really touch him. But yeah. Okay. So my last little gripe, and then we can only praise this movie because it deserves our praise. I swear to God, it does. Did you guys know that fire doesn't produce smoke in this world? Did you guys know that?
We talked
It
about
also
this at Matt
apparently
Mark,
doesn't produce fucking heat.
or heat. Yeah,
Did you know?
yeah, all of us.
Fire
Yeah.
does not produce smoke. That was just part of just a shout out to Mark, part of the Matt Mark Movie Show, who was on our podcast last week. We were talking about issues with CGI. Man, it's like they didn't listen to our podcast, you guys. It's like they didn't even think about us.
They had those little single embers, though, that were clearly CGI to like fall like, woo! They had like these little single embers in the frame so you could see them, but there was no smoke.
Really
It was the best campfire ever made because it was perfectly ventilated. You could see their face clearly. Nobody coughed. It was perfect. Nobody's face started turning red.
Dude.
Nobody's face started turning red. It was brilliant. Dave, any gripes before we just try to praise this movie? Because that's the whole point of our podcast.
I have nothing but I think it was fun. Like, we enjoyed watching it, but I will credit Stallone's performance in this because it was his, like, when you go back and watch it, like if you do watch it the second time,
I watched it twice.
You realize
I know, John. John's eyes just
all the
popped
fucking
open.
clues are there for exactly with this. All the clues are there for like when the twist comes. It's like, and I think that's what gave it away to my wife so early. Like as soon as she said it, I thought about what he'd just done because it was when he got the knife through the hand, and he was like, you saw it in his face. He considered killing that kid.
I really wish, though, that he didn't just push the kid backwards. I wish he threw him into a wall or something. But I understand that, you only have 5 actors in the movie. But he literally was like, this is basically the villain of the movie. And he's like, "Rrr," and then he just like kind of taught. He didn't even throw him in the mud. I was like, come on. And then later, but like, yeah. But the shit that's so funny that you have the strongest person alive who, first of all, has a heart condition. Hilarious. And it's only a heart condition when he gets overheated. Hilarious. He needs to get steamed down. Hilarious. But he still doesn't tell the kid that he's Samaritan. Hilarious. And then when the kid figures it out, that turn where... Hilarious. And then, come on, the way he cracks those bones back into place, that's all acting by Stallone. It was all in the frame.
Yeah, they really broke those.
It was all in the
frame.
It was all in the frame. I don't know how they did it, but you saw it and you saw him go, he rehearsed that, and people were laughing their ass off on set. That's what this movie should have been the whole entire time.
The Stallone, there were a couple moments when he was screaming. He was like, oh, like when somebody, I don't remember what was happening to him, but God, his screams that guy is so good. I miss him so much. I miss him in his heyday.
You miss him. We just saw a new movie of his.
Oh, come on. I miss him being like at the front and center. Anyway, I feel like this was a good lesson. Of course, I can't stop fucking thinking about things like this. If somebody was to hand us this script, like, this is why it's so important for everybody to be on the same page about like genre and tone, because it's going to dictate all of these decisions. I felt like it was kind of wavering back and forth. I did think that kid, Moises, the boy with the dreads, who was kind of his, like,
I think his character's name was Reza in the movie. Reza, yeah. White guy
Reza. I
White
saw
guy
him
with
last
dreads.
year in like an indie film, and he was really good in that. I thought he was really good in this. There were some aspects of this where I felt like they're nailing like that 80s, like finding or never ending story kind of thing, like the classic like gripes between the kid who's trying to do something right and the bullies. And I think if they had hung on to that a little bit more, I don't know. There was a moment in time where I thought maybe the hammer was going to like transform somebody. Like Cyrus was maybe the decoy the whole time, and that Moises kid was going to grab it, and his hate was going to like turn him into like a large creature thing or something. I don't know. Yeah. I felt like this was going to go in that direction. I was like, yes, like 80s kid action movie. It just kept not doing it, like every chance it got.
But he stole a garbage truck. I mean, come on, that's and he stole it like he was stealing
awesome,
Air Force One. The look on his face when he like breaks into the fucking public works place, and he's like, "Rrr." And come on, when he says that one of the greatest lines, it's the dumbest line and it's the greatest line. It was the dumbest line the first time I heard it, the greatest line the second time I heard it. You think I'm the good guy? I'm the bad guy. Didn't his face double in size when he said that? Like, didn't all of a sudden like his forehead and chin just literally double in size? Acting.
Dude, acting. He and the Chekhov technique, he enlarged his presence. Honestly, dude, it was great. I think that was what kept making me smile, is that
he ran through a wall. I mean, come on.
I think Stallone had fun doing this. I don't think he ever doesn't have fun. Like, I feel like he only takes projects that he wants to actually make right now and just have some good times. But I think he had a good time. And it was charming to watch that.
Dave, do you agree with John that this was made for kids? Sorry, you were about to say a point.
Kids is wrong. Kids is wrong. It's not like like little kids, but probably like 8 and up. I would feel comfortable saying that. Like, they've all seen fucking Marvel movies now.
Yeah, true.
They've seen fucking buildings and
I don't know.
falling on humans.
I feel like this didn't know what it wanted to be.
Okay. If you looked at a picture of the writer, no offense, I feel bad. I retract that statement.
Yes.
You know what I'm going to say.
Writer of Escape Room
Bring it out in the
and
first place.
Season of the Witch. That's what he wrote.
Oh.
Don't know if you guys knew that.
I've seen Escape Room. Oh boy.
I have not. Yeah, another classic. Don't want to be negative here. I will say this is one of those movies where not that we have to agree on something, but Elizabeth watched this with me, and by the end of it, she went, "Oh, that was fucking terrible," and she walked away.
She made it through the whole movie.
She did. I mean, not silently. But she did hang on though, and then by the time it was over,
I think she was in my dream recently, but I don't know who she is. I've never met her before, so it was you, and then whatever I manifested to be is very interesting.
It's an appropriate buzz.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, I don't know, you guys. I think I would have had a decent. I think I would have. I'm trying to imagine, like, what do kids feel like when they're growing up nowadays, and they have all these fucking movies that they don't have to go to their video store and rent something. Like, their shit is right here. And maybe they've seen Marvel 1,000 times now and they want to watch something else. I think I would have pressed play on this and had a good time. Between the ages of like 8 and 14. I think you would have caught me when I was like maybe 8 and 12. Maybe 13-year-old John would have been like, this is not as good as I want it to be.
It probably looked like the movies from the 70s that or whatever, 60s, 70s, 80s when we were growing up because, no offense, Dave, because it looked, first of all, the radios.
yeah, no offense. That's hilarious.
The radios,
go fuck yourself button.
the tools, the things that Stallone was stealing looked very drawable. Like, they looked like graphic novel, like traceable things. Like, these old radios and stuff. It's like, wait, they have cell phones. Like, this is all very confusing. But also, every car was a Toyota Tercel, which was only available in the 90s. I noticed like 10. It's almost like they had the same 10 cars, and then they just moved every time they shot in a different street. They just took the same Toyota Tercels and just put them in a different street. I don't know if you noticed that, guys. And I do feel like they actually pulled from a lot of different movie kind of things. So for instance, like the selling the wire thing at the beginning, that's straight out of The Wire, right? Where they're selling the material,
well, actually,
the construction site material.
That's straight out of Full Monty.
It's straight out of a lot of things. I think they do it.
Interesting.
That's a common thing when the Oscars out of the economy, people go and steal copper wire. Yeah.
With the shopping cart, and then of course you have the best friend of our lead character Ashtray, riding in the he was literally like sitting in the. I would have been like, get the fuck out of this. There's no way I'm pushing.
That kid was funny as hell, by the way. I wish they would have brought him back a third time.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about Martin Starr has a very small appearance where he plays a virgin who's 40. And then you have the mom.
Wait, what?
Martin Starr is the other guy who thinks that Samaritan is still alive.
Oh, yep.
Who's definitely still a virgin.
Yeah. Is he on
Silicon Valley? He's
Silicon Valley? Yeah.
But the mom, I know we're trying to keep it positive, but they did the mom dirty in this movie. I mean, the stuff at the beginning, she's a good mom and stuff, but
why did they do her dirty? I like that actor a lot.
No, she was great, but like the guy took the boy to the hospital, and she's like, "Some hero you are," because he couldn't protect this. Like, okay, and then at the very end, she's in the building when this whole like weird, there's. The capture and the kidnapping and the gun shooting and stuff happens. And she's there for the burning building.
We have to leave now. Oh no, I'm going to stick my head out the window.
And then we see her like 1 second here, and then like 10 minutes later, we see her for 1 second. This is the mom of the protagonist. This is the mom. Like Steven Spielberg would have never let the mom of the kid just she's there. She's on site. She's
Steven
on
Spielberg
site.
never would have directed Escape Room either.
Boy, hey.
He also wouldn't have shown inside the building. He would have wanted it to be in your imagination to scare you more. This is, I still had fucking. It's hard to explain because I knew this movie was kind of dumb on the whole, but I still had fun with it.
You did not have fucking fun with this. Fuck you, dude. No, you did. Shut the fuck up.
I think I did. I saw it twice.
That one fucking listener who said we need to have more fun with these movies. Fuck that shit, dude. I mean, we're trying to be positive here.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta be honest.
Sometimes you gotta be honest. Sometimes you gotta take the hit to your liver.
Come on, he put a blackout grenade in somebody, and he said
that was awesome.
He put a blackout grenade in, and
that was a throwback to the 80s quips. Yeah,
find the line, dude. Find the line. What did he say?
Have a blast.
Have a blast.
That scene where he let them follow him into irresponsibly follow him into a homeless encampment in the alley. There were tons of people around. He was like, "Come on, this'll do."
Yeah. I laughed so hard the second time I watched that voiceover that Dave hated, where it was like 2 brothers equally matched, except one brother made a hammer, so he was better matched.
Dude, you sound like a Rick and Morty episode. 2 brothers. It's just called 2 brothers.
2 brothers equally matched, except one brother was more matched. It's like,
oh god, there were so many things that I thought this was
2
going to be.
potatoes equally mashed.
The guy was getting an old radio, and they're like, "Get a puzzle," instead of an old. It's just no context. Somebody just shouted, "Get a puzzle!" like out of nowhere.
How good would this movie have been had that exact intro happened, and then you realized it was just the kid writing like his graphic novel, and there's no actual superheroes, but his neighbor ends up like trying to help them in this like crime-ridden neighborhood. Fucking great. There's I feel like there were so many different directions that could have gone. Like,
his neighbor was just the next door neighbor from Home Alone, and he just pretended like he was Samaritan. Don't you feel
some like apt pupil shit and it like got really dark? Yeah.
Don't you feel like Samaritan was the Iron Giant come back to life as a human?
All right, you know I think we've done enough on this.
Did they? Hold on, wait, real fast. Did they get struck by lightning? Is that what gave them superpowers?
Dave?
I don't remember.
If none of us can answer that question, Jeff, you saw it twice.
Yeah.
If none of us can answer that question, now I didn't even bother. I was like, that's like 2 minutes in, you guys, and I was like, fuck it. I didn't even just go back 10 seconds to get to clarification. If none of us can answer that, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
None of us have any idea why those guys have superpowers, right?
Nope.
To be fair to me, I ate weed gummy the first time I saw it, so I didn't remember anything about it the next day, except for a couple of little snapshots here. Yeah, he's like, "I'm the bad guy." Like he's just immediately started talking out of the side of his mouth.
I'm
the bad guy. Like it was the weirdest line delivery. I don't even know what he said. Like,
that moment was cool, the explosion and everything. But I thought like all of them were gonna die, and he was gonna be like, I don't know. I don't know what.
Yeah, I thought the fight was over when that happened, but nope.
Yeah,
it kept going.
Well, wasn't our most raving positive review of all time.
No, it was not.
Maybe you don't need to rush out and see this one.
But if it turns up on your timeline, just hit play and have fun.
Wait, how good is it though when the kid finally realizes it's Nemesis and he's like, "Is it true?"
You can't save it now.
Wait, tell me, is it true? Tell me, is it true? Are you? And he's like, "What? That I'm him?" It's like, yeah, of course that's what I want to know. Is it true? And he's like, "Yeah," and the kid's like, "It's all right.
Okay.
You could change."
Yeah.
Like, you can change.
He just changed all the time. He literally was like, his dream was shattered, and he goes, "You could change." Whereas Cyrus's dream was shattered, and he was like, "Fuck it, I got a new dream now. It's to kill you. It's like it's to kill my hero." Come on, this it's so stupid. It's not in the film, but we had fun.
Do you
think they're going to make another?
No.
Guys, I didn't ask you if you want them to make another. I said,
that's for Dave and I.
Lightning quick there.
No. I really feel like they didn't have enough budget for this, which is why they kept showing the same sequence over and over again. The Nemesis killing Samaritan thing. That was like,
that is no excuse. We've seen a lot of cheesy creature movies that have low budgets and they're fucking awesome. They're still cool.
I think they did their post-pro work on this. There's decent enough score, good sound editing, but I don't think.
Fuck up.
The sound editing was fine. No. The sound editing was fine.
Yeah, give it the pity Oscar.
Yeah,
because you two are the experts, so I can't talk about sound editing.
No. What did you like about it?
I don't know yet.
No, I get PTSD from sound editing.
My favorite part about this whole episode is
Oh
when
my
you
God.
pointed out the Toyota Tercels. in every shot, there was a specific production. They had like 10 cars.
Yeah,
It
it's
appeared in
the cars I heard for all the PAs.
People stood on top of them. People fell on them. Like they were always.
They told
around.
the colorist. They told Dave. They were like, Dave, you got to change the colors on the second take here. We gotta give me some reds and browns.
I'm just
Come on.
asking, guys. I'm just asking. What do you think after Euron Greyjoy shot that scene when they were on that day when they were shooting his speech scene when he was riling up the poor folks?
He was wearing a
getting them to
mask.
come
He
out?
didn't give a fuck.
Do you think they walked off set and he was like, "This movie is"?
Well, he was wearing a mask, and it was definitely 80 yards. So he probably was like, "Just give me my snacks." Just give me my.
Where's craft services?
All right,
Honestly,
all
though,
right.
I mean,
We
I
don't
hope
seem to
they
be
had a
able to
good
stop.
time.
We got to
That
stop
scene
ragging
was
on
awesome.
this.
All right. That scene was fun.
Okay, and they had a hypoallergenic cat too. That was fun.
Well, this movie exists, film fans.
Oh my God, guys! That sound, of course. Wait, where's the gush? Why's the gush alarm going off?
You
too?
hit
cursed me
two
and
buttons
you said
somehow.
fuck me. You know
Damn
what?
it.
That is.
Oh, Dave, this is too sensitive. This. Well, that sound
That's what
means
she said.
one of those sounds
Oh my
means
God.
that it is time to head into our final segment of the show, where we give you recommendations for the week, what you've been watching, how you think, how you feel. That's not just what have you been watching this week,
We don't give a fuck how you feel.
Dave? What have you been watching?
I've been watching She-Hulk.
Okay, talk to me.
Is it any good?
It's
Talk to
fucking
us.
hilarious. Like they've
Easy,
they've
Dave.
really found their tone.
Easy, like-
No, they've really found their tone.
Like really funny, or like one of Marvel's funnier kind of
It's
things, or is it like a
no,
comedy?
it's pretty funny. She talks to the camera like Deadpool. They have this whole
Okay,
back
there you
and
go.
forwards thing with Hulk training her, and she's better. And yeah, it's just fun. Like I think Marvel found their tone with the series. They've got like since Ms. Marvel was a little quirky and a little funny. This one went the full way. I don't know where they're going after this, but
I
yeah.
love Tatiana. I love her.
She
I mean,
rocks
yeah,
this role.
she's-
She rocks this role.
She's incredible. So
Yeah.
it would be hard to make her look bad. So I'm sure I hope they're giving her a lot of good stuff to work
Even the
with.
CG is nowhere near as bad as anyone said.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, I think that's a compliment. Good.
Because I saw her form on like a poster, like when she's transformed. I was like, that looks a little Avatar-y to me. I don't know. I was kind of nervous that they made her like.
Yeah, I mean
slim and
it's a
kinda
CG person,
sexual
and we're not there yet. But like they made her pretty good. Like some of the facial expressions on her and the Hulk are amazing.
You heard it here, folks. Dave Green. We're not there yet, but it looks pretty.
Yeah.
it looks pretty
I mean,
good.
we're not 100% person. You can't. No one can do it yet.
I'm glad she's doing a good job. Disney
Yeah.
Plus. How many episodes? Is like 12.
We're 2 in. There's 3. Three is coming
Is
this
this
weekend.
the 5th Marvel series?
I think so. And I feel like they finally found their feet. Like this
Wow.
is
Alright.
one of my favorites so far, and it has wide appeal. It's pretty funny.
What was your favorite before this?
Ms. Marvel.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Recency bias.
Whoa, hold on, wait. What? There's a series called Ms. Marvel?
Yes.
Yeah, it skews younger though. I thought so. I didn't see it. Yeah, it's for John. I thought I didn't watch it because I thought it skewed younger. I thought it was like to get teens in for the next.
Oh
generation,
hell no,
but
no! It's a great.
It's
Like-
Brie Larson?
No, that's Captain Marvel. Ms. Marvel is another character who has different abilities.
Is this a new addition because of diversity hires? Or is this a.
No, this has been around for a while,
Is this-
but she is actually a Muslim superhero, a Pakistan American Muslim superhero.
Ms. Marvel?
Ms. Marvel.
I didn't know it was-
Yeah,
I felt
I
bad.
would
I didn't
I
know
would
anything
recommend
about
looking it up. You'll love it, actually. Because again, they cover like some stuff that went down in Pakistan and India that a lot of people didn't know about, and so yeah, it's
There's-
good,
Yeah,
and it's
I might enjoy the cultural significance.
Yeah.
Just so everybody out there knows, I boycott all these shows equally. I dislike and discriminate equally. So this is not
Yeah.
just because
John
she's a-
hasn't seen any of them. So
All right, Turkish John discriminates against all of the Marvel cinema.
Yeah, I'm
products.
the one. I'm almost done with For All Mankind. Yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, I think you'd watch it. Space race show. Yeah, It's in the same world. I was sick, so I really didn't watch a whole lot of stuff. 30 Rock it's still really funny, you guys. I still recommend
Yeah.
giving it another go. It's
I'm
still
at
good.
least 5 episodes into it.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Anyway, Jeff, what are you watching? Oh, and Descendant. I'll just say it one more time. Wonderful documentary. I think it's coming out next month. Descendant. Check that shit out. That was really, really good. Really good documentary.
So I talked about The Staircase on HBO on our other episode about 3,000 Years of Longing. So you'll have
Elizabeth said, "What is Jeff talking about? It's not slow." She's confused. What are you talking about? That's what she said. She was like, "It doesn't feel like super slow."
The Staircase on HBO?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a trial show, and the trial doesn't even start until like the 4th episode or something. I don't know. I felt like it was... Yeah, there was no trial for 3 episodes.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's a trial show.
I can't speak.
Oh, well, I mean, good. I'm glad she doesn't think it's slow. Maybe it's just because I watched the Netflix documentary that I have a different pacing idea of that. But I will say, as I said last time, Toni Collette.
She's super into that case.
Toni Collette. So wait, okay. So John, you would like this.
Oh my God.
Chloe and I watched it together. I think he is not guilty, and Chloe thinks he did it. So we literally watched it together, and we both have different takes on whether or not he did it. So that's how good this show is. Also,
she's storing arsenic.
and
slowly building it up in your diet.
I'm sorry to say, Dave, Toni Collette, she's the victim. She's the one who dies. They go flashback and stuff. She reenacts the different scenarios of how it could have happened, and it's Toni Collette. She has to win an Emmy for how to do this, because honestly, the owl theory, man. The owl theory is the fucking
You don't need to
best.
say this when John listens to our previous episode.
When John listens to it, yeah, sure. So, but like, you have to, guys, there are 8 episodes and they're at least an hour. There's some that are like an hour 13.
He hears us talk enough.
But you gotta watch it just to see Toni Collette reenact the 3 different scenarios of how this happens. It is... There's blood. She's coughing blood up on the stairs. It is, oh my God, she's fucking brilliant.
She's so good, dude.
And then the other recommendation I have, which I keep forgetting that I watched this, even though I watched it because I was talking about Samaritan on 2 different podcasts this week. But I watched, for the first time ever, all the way through, Rambo First Blood. I'd never seen the movie all the way through.
I got the texts. I
had seen the second one, which is just glorifying war for sure. Yeah. But the first one, so this is what I said to you guys. I will admit to you guys, this is Wednesday of last week. So Chloe had just left and I ate a weed gummy. So I was high by myself. I hope my mom and dad have stopped listening to this episode yet.
You're grounded.
I thought Rambo First Blood was like Commando or a Bond movie or something, but it's actually I Am the Cheese. But then I said, I thought this was just going to be a badass killer romp, but I honestly feel so bad for him. It actually pains me. My heart watching this fucking thing. I don't know if I can watch it anymore. I really was like, I have to turn this off because I feel too much. He
pains a few hearts later in the movie too.
I feel too much. I mean, he's killing people, but he didn't do anything wrong. He has PTSD, people. He has PTSD. These people in fucking Oregon, or no, Washington State. Brian Dennehy. I know I said it wrong. Brian Dennehy here doesn't respect his even though he's a Vietnam vet. That's a very interesting nuance, right? They don't respect PTSD. This motherfucker. He goes to his local, he just wants food. He's walking. He's not doing anything wrong, and they arrest him. They try to book him. It gives him PTSD, so he punches Brian Dennehy, and then he goes on the run, and then he kills people. But it's their own fucking fault because we don't respect our goddamn veterans, people. I was like feeling
Leave
for him so much.
Leave that man in the super tight jeans on the side of the road alone.
I felt so, honestly, the movie fucked up a little bit by not bringing the woman in at the beginning where she was like, oh, he's dead. And he's like, oh, we served together. And she should have later on been like, guys, the whole reason he's in town is because he was trying to find the last, oh my God, like that movie like literally crushed my soul, First Blood. It goes to show you, isn't it? It goes to show you these old movies are like, that you think they're glorifying war. We talked about Conan the Barbarian. You think it's just about like fucking and killing and stuff, but like these stories back then were really well done. Shit.
The story fucking mattered, dude. And when Stallone got a hold of that script, I just heard an anecdote about this, or just read one in a book. When he got that script, Rambo died at the end. And they were more portraying him as like the troubled protagonist, like an anti-hero that is going to ultimately get killed justifiably. And he was the one who fought for it, and he rewrote it, and he was like, this guy's a fucking hero. We can't have that perspective on this issue. It's too important. It was just going to be a violent movie, and this guy was just going to get blown to bits at the end. It was going to be more about restoring balance in America kind of thing. And I thought it was fun that he subverted it and was like, what happens if this guy is who we root for? I don't know. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I'm glad you watched it. Guys, my friend, his friend gave him this pen I'm going to come in slow for you so you can get the nice
A lot
reveal.
of reflections there.
Ready?
There we go.
Oh, no. Oh, boy, it's Nicole Kidman, definitely from the AMC trailers at the beginning of every movie. What is that?
She got him a patch, like a little thing to sew into your clothes or your backpack or something. How good is that, Jen?
So funny.
Oh my God, they're making it. Anyway,
All right.
glad you watched it, man. This movie made me want to fucking go back to First Blood, dude. It made me want to go back to the Rockies too, but it really made me think about First Blood. I was like, fuck, it's been a while since I've watched that one. And I've never seen Last Blood was good. I've never seen 3 or 4. How many are there?
The newest Rambo is pretty good. Dave?
I think there's 3.
3 and then the recent
last
one.
one. Last Blood,
Yeah.
Mark is a huge fan of the Rambo franchise.
All right, Dave's been trying to
Shout out
end
to
this
Matt
episode for 15 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and wind this down. Dave, anything you want to say before we go?
No.
All right.
Not at all.
Thank you, Dave,
All right,
as
guys.
always, for editing and mixing this down. Thank you all for listening. I forgot to mention we have a link tree at the beginning, but if you've listened this long, please say hi to us. Literally just fucking say hi, and we'll say hi back, and that's it. That'll be the end of it. Thank you so much, film fans. We'll see you next week.